What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another Back for Blood deck build video. Today we're talking about that power swap DPS deck. Now this is going to be a strong one considering we've got more than a few changes from this February update previously, and some of the negatives got taken off certain cards, other positives added to other cards as well, and a few change-ups with more than a few cards that have become serious power play. If you haven't seen it already, well, trust me, it's going to make your Nightmare experience a whole lot easier going forward. But that being said, we'll get straight into the deck. Obviously, if you'd like to copy and paste this, I'll have it listed down in the description below. But we're starting off with 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Going to do a dual primary with this deck. Now, arguably, you could do this as something different from an AR and SMG. Could go with the shotgun SMG, shotgun AR, sniper rifle. If you wanted to go that route, personally, it would have to be a sniper rifle with an SMG. You'd want that vector, utilize the vector for this power swap to get that 20% damage, deplete that thing, and then switch over to the sniper rifle. Would be a great bonus, but there may be a few cards I'd probably change up for that, so this will be mainly for the shotgun, AR, and SMG types, but for this one specifically, AR and SMG. Vector is a great secondary weapon to have. Any of the ARs is going to do you just fine when it comes to this type of build. But right after that, we've got admin reload, which now only when you stow your weapon it reloads. No longer do we have the negative 50% to swap speed. Going to help us out a whole lot when it comes to this power swap build, especially since we can fit in a few different cards that now give us even greater benefits and not having to stack up with that swap speed. Right after that, power swap, every time that we change our weapons within 1 second of reaching that low ammo, grants us that 20% damage for 5 seconds. Going to be perfect for the early on DPS for the beginning of those levels. And since we're doing dual primaries, we're going to have more than enough damage to deal with any of those special infected we may be coming across, especially considering, if you haven't noticed recently, there's a bit more when it comes to spawning of the special infected. Not exactly sure what happened with the February update, but I definitely noticed there was a bit of an increase. I don't think it was too overwhelming myself, but there were a couple of moments where it just kept, it felt like it was like one after the other of each different type. More than likely you should be able to deal with it if you have the proper deck and the proper teamwork, but at the same time, it was a bit irritating here and there. Right after that, oh, well, we have messed up. Right after that, we've got shooting gloves. Sorry about that, people. We've got that 25% weapon swap speed, 15% recoil control, and 15% accuracy. Now, the 15% accuracy is going to be for that SMG, and the 15% recoil going to help us out a lot, especially if we're picking up an AK or a SCAR that has recently had that increased recoil on it. But this should give us more than enough in that beginning stages to really help us out with that, especially the SCAR. SCAR's always had a very strong visual recoil when it comes to its iron sights. Would highly suggest trying to find some type of reticle for it, because that thing feels like it's bouncing every which way, even though it's just going straight up. The visual recoil can be very disorienting and very irritating, to say the least. But right after that, we've got Amped Up. A recent new change to this card. When a horde is triggered, your team gains 25 temporary health. What a power play this card is, especially paired with NUMB, gaining that 15% damage resistance, and at the same time, having the ability to stack this between each one of the 4 players in each match, giving you the possibility to, anytime you trigger some type of event, gaining 100 temporary health is just overpowered in my opinion. Can't believe they actually threw this in here. It is just going to make your Nightmare experience that much easier for me personally. Unbelievable and very strong when it comes to survivability paired with that NUMB card. Having 100 temporary health and not being able to take any trauma damage because you have that temporary health stacked up, you're going to start seeing those strats where you'll essentially just be shooting those birds for the specific reason of gaining all that temporary health back, taking care of that horde very easily right after that, and taking minimal damage and trauma damage off of that. But arguably you could do it to where only 2 people had to throw this card on. Having more than 50 temporary health, not exactly something you really need every single time you're in one of these runs. More than likely 50% or 50 temporary health itself is going to be all you really need. That way you can kind of throw in some other cards into those other 2 players' decks, but at the same time, having that 4 overkill, more than likely you're going to be just fine unless everything just goes pear-shaped and your team just doesn't have quite the coordination you'd like it to have. But right after that, we've got Tactical Vest, giving us that 30% rifle ammo capacity and 10% damage for our assault rifle. Now, big thing in the very beginning, obviously, ammunition will be one of those things that you might deplete here and there, especially since we're not reloading. Kind of keep that trigger control under control, and make sure that you're not just wasting all of your ammo every time just to make it to that depleted or close to low ammo, or just at low ammo, just to change your weapon and gain that buff of damage. Obviously, make sure all those shots count when it comes to the special infected, but when it comes to the common infected, try and use that trigger control. Conserve on that ammo a bit, but at the same time, once we get to a certain card down the list, ammo is not going to be a worry for us. Now, this would be one of those moments as well. If you're looking to make a shotgun into this build with an SMG or possibly with the AR, shell carrier is going to be the one card you want to slide in between either one of the cards that's going to give us that ammunition and that damage for each one of these weapons. Right after that, we've got Shredder, which is also going to work perfect with the shotgun as well. Each bullet hit causes the target to take 1% increased damage for 3 seconds, stacking up to 15%. That, on top of the power swap and the 10% additional damage, going to be more than enough for any one of your runs. Trust me, by that point, anything more is just going to be kind of hurting us in a way, kind of costing us other cards that could add to our survivability or our ability in general after that to just maintain a better overall deck. By this point, all that damage that we're dealing with this, more than enough to completely delete any of these special infected with enough quickness. As long as you got some team shooting as well, it's just going to be pretty much instant. On your marks, another one of those cards that's changed up recently that's going to help out with this deck a whole lot as well, especially when it comes to ammunition. When a horde is triggered, your team restores 15% ammo and gain 10% move speed while firing, along with 25% reload speed and 25% swap speed. So not only is it going to help us when it comes to ammunition, refilling a small portion of it, but each time that it stacks up, we're getting 15% additional, 15% again, 10% more of that move speed while firing, and by this point, we'll have 50% swap speed in those moments when special infected start to come out. We'll have more than enough of that swap speed to really maintain that power swap and that DPS at all times in those moments when things get a little bit hectic. Pretty much a power play, and at the same time, if other people are running this as well, that's going to be 30%. I mean, you're going to have 60% of your ammo completely refilled if all 4 players are running this and have 40% to the move speed, 100% reload speed, and another 100% on swap speed if everybody's running this. Kind of absolutely insane. If everybody runs this at the very beginning, ammo should never be an issue. It's quite astonishing to me. At the same time, we've got amped up, giving us all of that health. Kind of breaking the game with these cards, but making the nightmare experience for a whole lot of people that probably had a nightmare of experience with it a whole lot easier one with these 2 cards. But right after that, we've got mag carrier getting that 30% pistol and ammo, or pistol and SMG ammunition, and giving us that 10% damage with the pistols and SMGs, specifically for our SMG here, giving us a bit more of that ammo and a bit more of that damage. Now right after that, we've got line 'em up, giving us that effective bullet range, but most importantly with this is going to be the 15% recoil control and the 25% to our aim speed. That way we can just line up very quickly on some of those weak spots or any of those common infected, and at the same time give us a bit more of that bullet penetration, since with this build we're utilizing the AR and the SMG. We'll be able to conserve a little bit of ammo by shooting through some of those common infected, taking a little bit of damage off each one as we're going through. But at the same time, that effective bullet range is going to help us at that same point. Right after that, reckless strategy, giving us 30% of that weak spot damage, taking a little hit to our damage resistance, but we'll help mitigate that right after this with that padded suit, gaining another 10% damage resistance. So by this point, we'll have 25% damage resistance. Could arguably throw in another card. Talk about that at the very end to give us a bit more of that damage resistance, a bit more survivability. But 5 health and stamina efficiency, don't even worry about it. We're going to have more than enough with this build in order to make it around. Obviously, you'd want to find one of those stocks for any one of your weapons that gives us a bit more of that mobility, that move speed, and arguably one other weapon could possibly, or if you find it before you find the mobility stock, the weapon swap speed stock is going to be a perfect in-slot weapon attachment for you early on. But right after that, we've got silver bullets, just gaining a bit more of that bullet damage. Sadly enough, we've taken off, 2.5% or 3.5 believe it's 2.5% bullet damage. It used to be 10%. Sadly, now it's only 7.5. But that 7.5 is still going to help us a bit. Arguably, you could take this one out. We still do have enough damage with this deck. You could either throw in something for Copper Supply, throw that one up early on, get that Copper Scavenger, or possibly Compound Interest now if you haven't recently seen. It's given us 5% for each one of our teammates in Compound Interest. And that's another one of those stackable cards that, well, essentially 4 different people got this. You've got 20% of your total copper in each safe room in interest. It's broken, in my opinion. Very broken. But if you got 4 people with that compound interest as well, take that silver bullets out, throw that in. If you're just feeling like you need a bit more economy, unbelievable. But at the same time, going to help with our damage, just give us a little bit more of that melting power and a little bit of that effective bullet range. Now, right after that, we've got Hellfire, gaining 45% move speed while firing and 3% move speed while not firing, just giving us a bit more of that mobility towards the end. Every time when it comes to the last card, I never really know what to throw in here. But at the same time, if you felt like you needed a little bit more damage resistance, there is one other card that I will be using in more than a few other decks. And where is it? I can't believe I'm missing it right now. It is what was supposed to be evasive action, and now I believe it is defensive maneuver. Yes, boom, there it is. Now, defensive maneuver, whenever we take a hit for 15 or more damage, gain 25% damage resistance for 3 seconds. This is going to be perfect for those tall boys, those bruisers, sometimes just coming up on you out of nowhere. You get hit one time, especially with the tall boys. You know how quick they can just re-ramp up that arm and then drop it back down again after they've just charged you again. No real time from any other mobility cards in order to just quickly get away, unless you just got mad dash or something else. But even in some of those moments, you're too slowed by that hit and they're just already hitting you again. This could be one of those cards to help mitigate those issues with the tall boys, where you're essentially just getting one shot, or as soon as you do get hit with it one time, it's just going to take one more hit to just prop you on down to the ground or just drop dead. Defensive maneuver could be one of those cards you throw in at the very end, or possibly somewhere in the mid portion of this deck, to just give you a bit more of that survivability. I did perfectly fine without it, but at the same time, if you felt like you needed a little bit more of that resistance with this, that's a great card to throw in instead of Hellfire. But if you want more mobility, Hellfire is going to be the way to go. Now, that being said, that's going to be the Power Swap DPS. We'll do a couple of more builds here in the coming days. Be doing a bit of Lost Ark and this game at the same time between each day. So I'll try to work this in as much as I can, but for right now, it'll probably be about 1 deck a day. More than likely, 5 new decks will be coming out of this since these card changes. More than a few changes and more than a few cards that have become completely overpowered, in my opinion. Wouldn't be surprised if they get nerfed sooner than later, but at the same time, with the way that Back 4 Blood has been doing their updates, I wouldn't be surprised if they just kept it in for another month, let everybody enjoy it, I suppose, until their next update coming in. And another thing to be noted is that alarm doors now can't be broken by some of these zombies, so having amped up and on your mark, just going to be a huge benefit for you. There's so many moments inside of the campaign where there's one of those alarm doors straight in the main path, and there's no other way to get around it other than utilizing a toolkit or just shooting through it now. Kind of frustrating. Now, Special Infected can still break down these doors, and the common infected horde that comes from a horde being called can break down alarm doors, so you kind of at that toss-up where you kind of make that decision whether or not you're going to just need to shoot at that moment or waste all that copper, possibly utilize compound interest to help you out with those moments where you need to utilize that, or utilize those toolkits more often with somebody like Carly that can hold 2 of them. So not only can she make it through at least 1 alarm door, but at the same time still get to that toolkit room. Kind of frustrating in my opinion. Apparently this was something that they made as a problem and solution. If you've seen, what is it, Swing Point's video recently, he was talking about it. That's how I learned about it. But apparently there was supposed to be a card to help mitigate this issue where doors cannot be broken down by common infected now, and It's quite frustrating that they put the problem in but never added the solution. Apparently, that card will be in a later update, possibly next month. Who knows? Hopefully, next month that DLC is coming with it. That's what I'm really waiting on right now. But with some of these card changes at the same time, and hopefully some new cards coming in the future with some of these updates, we're going to have more than enough content to tide us over until we get that DLC, which hopefully sooner than later. But on that note, hopefully this helped you out. If you'd like to catch some of this content live, obviously hit that link down in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. Also, if you'd like to talk with some other people, get some other people to group together, or looking for a group when it comes to Nightmare difficulty, trying to get some of those SWAT suits, hit the Discord down below. Come join us over there. We got more than a few people in there looking to play with some other people that have some solid decks and not just running with randoms and people that just don't know what they're doing. We all know the pains of randoms. Hell, I've been through it more than 500 hours at this point. But that being said, hopefully you enjoyed this, guys, and have a good one. Man, I can't see shit. Why are the zombies popping in and out? Absolutely, that's what's going on, man. You tried out the Lost Ark yet? Can I take messages? Yeah, I appreciate it, Vegeta. Oh my god, dude, it's like teleporting zombies right now. What is he doing? some serious lag going on. Oh my god. At least it's just Rieger hordes. They're supposed to have a boss on this. Wow, we can't even grab that card. That's frustrating. Not really a fan of it. I kind of want to keep the stumble. Holy shit! I don't know, pipe bomb. I can barely see him. Wait, do we have to set off the alarm every time now? For each one of these doors? Yeah, coming in. Oh my god, it's... What? Through the window? You kidding me?
kind of proving a point right now that you just don't run out of ammo with this other on your mark card. That is crazy. I have not had to worry about ammo ever since that card came into play.
Just what I want.
Wait, is that a breaker? Nah, it's not a breaker. That is a breaker. When? I've never seen a breaker at this point. Alright. Yeah, he is deleting that thing. Wow, man. Talk about broken melee right there. Damn straight. Yeah, can you even call that a flashlight? I'm absolutely blind inside there. Nope. He just gets deleted. Yeah, that was one thing I was wondering, whether or not, you know, they made that change up in the patch notes saying that now melee could hit the weak spots. Maybe it's absolutely destroying them. I mean, clearly right there it showcased it. But I thought it was doing that before anyway. But that'll be the next build right there. Melee DPS tank. And all I've got's a flashbang. Got plenty of ammo. Alright, that didn't work. Not too bad.